Welcome, age of vintage society. Claim. MGM strapped Leo the lion to a table in order to film the mascot for their iconic logo. False. Was the lion really strapped down to film this famous trademark clip? False. MGM strapped Leo the lion to a table. Make sure to watch the video until the end and leave your thoughts in the comments. If you are new here, join our wonderful community by subscribing to the Age of Vintage channel. False. MGM strapped Leo the lion to a table. The story of Hollywood's most famous lion. The Leonine logo of the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer film studio, originally designed for Goldwyn Pictures Corporation in 1916, is one of the Hollywood movie industry's most recognisable images. That iconic branding is familiar not only as a static logo, but also as the moving image of a roaring lion that precedes the presentation of MGM pictures. Those familiar with the training and handling of exotic animals know well how difficult it can be to get a creature such as a lion to roar on command. Though, so one might perhaps wonder what efforts went on behind the scenes to capture a suitable take of MGM's Leo the Lion mascot in full roar. One suggested answer has been provided by a photograph purportedly showing Leo strapped to a table while filming his iconic roar, a picture which has been circulated online since at least January 2015. An image posted on Facebook seems to show the lion mascot of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Film Studios strapped to a table for its iconic roar to be filmed. The lion's head is framed by what looks like a black cardboard cutout bearing MGM's logo backwards. The implication is that the lion was mistreated in the filming of the logo. The post has been viewed more than 1.4 million times so far. Does it show the MGM lion strapped to a table while the logo was filmed? I checked. However, the above displayed image does not capture either MGM's Leo or the filming of a company logo. This is a manipulated version of a photograph that was originally taken in 2005 when a 2-year-old Barbary lion named Samson underwent a CAT, computer-aided tomography, scan after falling ill at a zoo. A young lion called Samson has become the star attraction at an Israeli zoo after his life was saved by a vet in a pioneering 9-hour brain operation. To the horror of zoo staff and visitors, the lion began staggering around his pen at the Haikef Zoo in Rishon LeZion, near Tel Aviv, his legs buckling beneath his weight as if he were a calf struck down by mad cow disease. Merav Shamir, a veterinary neurological specialist from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, diagnosed that Samson was suffering from damage to the posterior portion of his skull, a condition caused by vitamin A deficiency that has killed every other lion known to have suffered from it. After a computer-aided tomography scan on Samson's skull confirmed her suspicions, Dr. Shamir sent an urgent message to veterinary experts around the world asking if any had performed corrective surgery. No one had tried anything like this, she said, but we decided to give it a go. After all, we had nothing to lose. MGM did not need to strap Leo the lion to a table in order to get him to roar for their famous logo. In fact, what the company actually did was far more interesting and dangerous. The images displayed above may be partially responsible for fostering the later rumour that one of MGM's first Leos killed its trainer and his assistants while they attempted to film him. MGM lion mascot used since 1924. The MGM mascot, Leo the Lion, has been associated with the studio since it first opened in 1924. MGM has used several trained lions as its mascot over its history. The first lion from the silent film era was filmed looking around without roaring. The roar was added later in 1928 after sound films, known initially as talkies, became popular. Old photos show that the first lines were filmed standing up in a studio. We could find no evidence that MGM had the lions strapped down to film the logo. First of all, I want to clarify, there wasn't only one Marlborough man in world history, and certainly not one single lion who posed in front of the camera for long decades. In fact, Leo has not been one lion but 7, starting with Slats, the Dublin-born lion who first hung his head silently in the midst of the logo from 1917 to 1928. Slats was not only trained by Volney Fiffer, but also buried on his estate after the lion died in 1936. There's an old urban legend that says the original MGM lion, presumably Slats, went a bit berserk when they were trying to get him to film the clip of the logo. Rumour had it that he killed his trainer and 2 other people on set after the filming was finished, but it's absolutely not true. Jackie, born in 1915, was the second MGM lion and the first celebrated roar. The roar was recorded separately and then married to a film of Jackie roaring, with Jackie's head in a frame to give a black surround. The final product was first used in MGM's first sound production, White Shadows in the South Seas, in 1928. It is Jackie and his roar that is seen in sepia at the beginning of The Wizard of Oz in 1939. As well as being MGM's living logo, Jackie's also appeared in over 100 films, including several Tarzan movies. The sound was provided to the studio microphone by a gramophone record. The myth about Jackie's roar is the following. It goes that the lion was originally meant to be standing proud and silent, but roared when 2 burglars rushed into the warehouse. The burglars in question were Boris Regina and Karl Maninowski. Supposedly Regina and Maninowski would regularly rob banks and stash their loot at a warehouse a few blocks away. One day, while the burglars' warehouse was normally empty, MGM and their lion were recording there. The lion roared at Regina and Maninowski as they entered, after which MGM stopped recording. The lion then jumped off the platform and mauled Maninowski, who died 2 days later. Regina ran out of the warehouse and got run over by a police car heading to the bank he had just robbed. This tale was nothing more than an amusing fabrication, one of a number of invented urban legends. 2 further lions, Telly and Coffee, were employed during the Technicolor colouring experiments between 1927 and 1934, but according to the corporate notes, they do not qualify as official logo lions. This was followed by a 22-year-old period of Tanner, 1934 to 1956. He might have been the most sullen of all the lions, but his was the second longest period among them all. Vidor's post answers neither why he had to be substituted with George in 1956, nor why George served only for 2 years. Although this is good ground for conspiracy theories, because we couldn't find anything else in the official source on the trainer attack case. Finally came Leo, who, apart from a brief period between 66 and 68, fills the logo since 1957 until the present day. During the 2 intermittent years, MGM used a stylised logo, similar to the one that can be seen in 2001 Space Odyssey. In cases, different roars were played simultaneously. Moreover, each lion had a longer and a shorter performance, 3 or 2 roar versions. As for Hitchcock's so-called supervision, there really is a picture by Clarence Sinclair Bull dating to 1958, depicting the director at the scene. This, though, was more of a PR image shot for his only MGM movie, North by Northwest. There's another image of him having tea with the lion, and yet another one with a car where he saves the animal from the studio. In the 1980s, MGM trademarked the familiar lion's roar, although that sound mark is now expired. Even today the rumour persists that the intro was supposed to be silent, featuring nothing more than live footage of the animal. Again, this was nothing more than a lie, perpetuated by a joke website that has since been lost to the sands of time, or rather, the internet. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new here, and if you want to support my work, please visit my Patreon page. Now it is your turn. Let's move on with the lion and table thing. Have you ever wondered that so many lions were already superstars at MGM?